Okay, so me and Cheyenne did the Taliban. Origin of the Taliban. This is where it started. I'm not gonna try to pronounce all these because I'm gonna butcher them really bad. But it started right here. Here's a map, and this is a picture of the city. History of the Taliban. Following the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan in 1979, the Taliban emerged as a resistance movement aiming to eject the Soviet troops from Afghanistan, and that's how they started. The core beliefs of the Taliban. The Taliban is a religious dictatorship. Those under Taliban rule are not free to practice their own religion, and they criticize the government policies. The Taliban applies a severe interpretation of Islam and the Quran. The groups believe that the Islamic law must be strictly followed. And these are pictures. Revenue. It's hard to say just how high the Taliban's annual budget is, but many put it at several hundred millions of US dollars. The 2012 UN report estimated that the Taliban raised 400 million through a combination of taxes, donations, extortions, and involvement in the illegal narcotics industry. Leaders of the Taliban. The Taliban has 18 leaders in total. Most have either been killed or captured, and these are a list of all of the leaders right there. How do the Taliban's weapons work? Taliban fighters use a wide variety of weapons, ranging from homemade IEDs to fully functioning armored vehicles. Most work in ways that normal weapons work, but the Taliban are known for using crude, improvised methods of hurting people. How are they transported? The Taliban transport weapons in all different kinds of ways. Obviously, they are moved illegally, so the Taliban do everything from smuggling to flying them wherever they need to go. Are there different types of this weapon? The Taliban use every single kind of weapon you can think of, from modified AK 47s to RPGs. The possibilities for the Taliban are almost endless. And these are two different kinds of AK 47s that they use. Symptoms of exposure. There aren't really that many symptoms of exposure when dealing with the Taliban. Most often, their weapons will be big, loud, and capable of leaving a devastating effect on people. And this is an armored truck, I guess, with two missile launchers on the back, and that's a guy with an RPG. Possible cures. The only thing that can cure a bullet wound is time and patience. Unfortunately, many injured soldiers are not just hurt by bullets. Proper treatment from a hospital and care from doctors are the only ways that many injured people recover. And this is the research. Daily life impact. The Taliban was one of the most popular terrorist groups and was responsible for a lot of death and destruction. Our daily life was impacted in ways like how the news gave us information, how we looked at people of another race, and the feeling of being safe disappeared in the eyes of many people. Security. Security in many public places has tightened up because of the Taliban. In pre 9/11 America, you used to be able to walk all the way up to the gate to greet people getting off airplanes. Now, after what has happened with the war on terror, we can no longer have luxuries like that. Economy. Our national debt grew a tremendous amount in order to counteract the war on terror. Many new jobs were also created due to the ever growing need of supplies for the military. This is an interview. I interviewed one of my friends named Phil. He works for Homeland Security, and he didn't want me to put his last name in here. But yeah, how has your life changed? Well, the time I spent waiting in line at the airport sure got a bit longer. Terrorism has made not just me, but all of us more aware of our surroundings. Of course, 9/11 was the big thing that set everyone off. Terrorism, for me, was a big wake up call. Just because we live in America doesn't mean we're always safe. The next question. What impact have you seen in the US? People are definitely more racist. Stereotypically nowadays, if you see a person on the street who is Muslim, you instantly think terrorist or something of the sort. I mean, it's not necessarily because they're racist, it's because our brains have been hardwired by the media to relate terrorists to the Islamic culture. Has terrorism impacted our economy? Oh, yeah, it caused our nation to spend so much more money on defense and anti terror technology. Even at my work, we changed everything up to deal with terrorism. Do you think the current counterterrorism policies of the government and security services are effective in preventing terrorism? We're never going to be able to stop everything. Of course, our prevention system for other countries has been effective, but the war on terror here at home is where it hits us hard. The dude sitting next to you in the movie theater or at lunch could be a member of the Taliban and you'd never know. What is your opinion on gun control and terrorism? The government will never be able to control guns in the US. People who want guns will get guns, regardless of the law. If you have a person with the intention of harming innocent civilians, that person is going to be willing to break the law to do it, and they'll have no problem getting a gun illegally too. Disarming the citizens of the United States would be what brings us down more than anything. And yeah, terrorism would thrive in a country with no way to protect themselves. So go ahead and have more restrictions on guns, and we'll see where that gets us. Do you think that racial profiling is an important way of preventing counter-terrorist activities? I look at it all from a statistics standpoint. If you have a person of Muslim origin and a person of Mexican or white or black origin, and you stand them side by side, which one is more likely to be part of a terrorist organization? I am in no way racist at all, and I don't believe that many people in my profession are. I don't really think it is all that important, but it is definitely a factor of prevention. How has terrorism impacted our civil rights? The government has taken away a lot of the free speech and expression, First Amendment kind of stuff, because of terrorism. If someone tweets about blowing up a school, of course you're going to get in trouble for that. We have a thing called controlled speech, where there's things that we can and cannot say, but we're still told we can speak freely. Many people don't notice it, but it's really not fair at all. And then these are the works cited for all of our research and pictures, and then that's the end.